Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is your major national weather alert update, and what we are tracking right now across Canada and the United States is a powerful, high-impact winter pattern that is far from finished. The warning map you're looking at right now tells a serious story. Large sections of central, eastern, and northern Canada are under active weather alerts, and at the same time, a dangerous storm system over Texas is organizing, strengthening, and beginning a northeastward march that will directly influence conditions near the Great Lakes, including southern Ontario and the Toronto region. This is not isolated weather. This is a connected, continental-scale winter setup. So let's slow this down, walk through it carefully, and explain what is happening, where the greatest risks are, and what comes next. Big picture, why this pattern is so dangerous. Right now, North America is locked into a highly amplified jet stream pattern. A deep Arctic air mass is anchored across central and eastern Canada. At the same time, warm, moisture-rich air from the Gulf of Mexico is surging northward across the southern United States. When these two air masses collide, the atmosphere responds violently. That clash is the reason we are seeing extreme cold warnings in Canada. Snow squalls and blowing snow. Ice crystal events. And a rapidly strengthening storm over Texas. This is the kind of pattern that produces widespread impacts over multiple days, not just a single weather event. Canada warnings, Central Canada under pressure. Let's start with the most intense warning zone, highlighted in orange across central Canada. This includes large portions of Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and parts of northwestern Ontario. Cities such as Winnipeg, Regina, Saskatoon, and surrounding communities are dealing with severe cold, brutal wind chills, and dangerous exposure conditions. Actual air temperatures are already deeply negative, but when combined with wind chill values are plunging toward -40 and even -50 Celsius. At these levels, frostbite can occur in minutes. Vehicles struggle to start, exposed skin becomes extremely vulnerable, outdoor activity becomes life-threatening. This is not routine cold. This is high-risk Arctic air. Ice crystals and visibility collapse. Across parts of the prairies and northern regions, ice crystals are being observed. This phenomenon occurs when extreme cold traps moisture near the surface, creating tiny suspended ice particles. The result: hazy skies, reduced visibility, poor air quality, difficult driving conditions even without snowfall. Communities may look calm, but conditions can rapidly degrade, especially during nighttime and early morning hours. Ontario and Quebec, multiple weather threats. Now shifting east into Ontario and Quebec, where the warning colors shift from orange into yellow, signaling significant but variable hazards. Southern Ontario, including Toronto, Ottawa, Kingston, and surrounding regions, is facing a combination of cold temperatures, lake-effect snow, and increasing concern for incoming storm influence. Northern and eastern Ontario remains vulnerable to blowing snow. Reduced visibility. Localized snow squalls. In Quebec, areas around Montreal and Quebec City are seeing persistent cold. Periodic snow. Gusty winds enhancing wind chill. This is not a quiet winter setup, it is dynamic and evolving. Atlantic Canada, wind, snow, and cold. Warnings extend into Newfoundland and Labrador, as well as parts of Atlantic Canada. Cities such as St. John's are dealing with gusty coastal winds. Cold temperatures. Periods of snow and reduced visibility. When Arctic air interacts with the Atlantic, conditions can change quickly, and marine-influenced communities must remain alert. Northern Canada, deep freeze continues. Further north, regions including Nunavut, Northwest Territories, and areas near Yellowknife and Iqaluit remain under persistent Arctic dominance. This is a prolonged cold regime, not a short-lived outbreak. Temperatures remain well below seasonal norms. Consistently dangerous. Slow to moderate. Infrastructure strain, transportation delays, and personal safety risks remain elevated. Now let's talk about the Texas storm. This is critical. Shifting southward, we now focus on the storm system currently organizing over Texas. This system is drawing massive moisture from the Gulf of Mexico and interacting with strong upper-level energy. Radar already shows widespread precipitation, including heavy rain, embedded thunderstorms, Freezing rain and snow on the northern edge. This storm is not stationary. It is tracking northeast. Why Texas matters to Canada. You might ask, why should Canadians care about a storm in Texas? Here's why. Storms that form in Texas during winter often strengthen rapidly, expand in size, travel along the boundary between cold Canadian air and warm southern air. This storm is forecast to move toward the Mississippi Valley, the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes region. And as it does, it will interact directly with the Arctic air currently sitting over Ontario and Quebec. That interaction is where major impacts become possible. Potential impacts near Toronto and the Great Lakes. As this storm approaches the Great Lakes region, including southern Ontario and Toronto, several scenarios are on the table. The exact outcome depends on storm track and timing, but the risks include widespread snowfall, freezing rain if warm air overrides cold surface air, strong winds creating blowing snow, rapid temperature swings. Even a slight shift in track can mean the difference between heavy snow, ice accumulation, or a messy mix of rain and snow. At this stage, confidence is growing that this storm will influence southern Ontario, but the exact impacts are still being refined. Why freezing rain is a major concern. One of the most dangerous possibilities is freezing rain. This occurs when warm air rides over cold air near the surface. Precipitation falls as rain and instantly freezes on contact. Freezing rain leads to ice-coated roads, power line damage, tree limb breakage, extremely dangerous travel. This risk window appears most likely as the storm approaches midweek, but preparations must begin now. Timeline: what to watch closely. Here's how the situation may unfold. Short term, Arctic cold and localized snow continue across Canada. Early next week, storm moves from Texas toward the Midwest. Midweek, system approaches the Great Lakes and southern Ontario. Late week, potential for lingering impacts and additional systems. This is a multi-day weather story, not a single event. Why this pattern is so active. Late January is climatologically one of the most volatile periods of winter. Cold air is deep and established. Storm energy is strong. Temperature contrasts are extreme. That combination fuels frequent and sometimes severe winter storms. The atmosphere right now is primed for continued action. Safety message: please take this seriously. If you are in any warning zone, limit time outdoors. Dress in full winter protection. Avoid unnecessary travel during active conditions. For those in storm-prone areas, keep vehicles fueled. Charge devices. Prepare for potential power disruptions. Cold is not just uncomfortable, it is stay or go dangerous. Final thoughts. This weather pattern is far from finished. Canada remains locked in Arctic cold. A powerful southern storm is on the move. And the interaction between the two will shape conditions over the next several days. This is why staying informed matters. I will continue tracking every update, every model shift, and every warning change, and I will bring it all straight here. If this update helped you, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn notifications on so you never miss a critical forecast. Stay alert. Stay prepared. And most importantly, stay safe.